Hello, lovely people, or just myself. I don't really know if anyone's ever going to watch this video, to be honest. Because I know YouTube's kind of out, like really out, and no one's like watching it anymore, but I don't care. I'm a YouTube girly. I absolutely love watching YouTube videos, and I thought it'd be a great way to make my personal diary. The sun's gone and now the light's a bit trash, I think. I switched on the light. So yeah, now the lighting isn't as trash anymore as it was without the sun. Now the sun's back. Yeah, I'm gonna ignore that for now. So welcome to my YouTube channel. The beginning was just how I am, a bit messy. But yeah, I decided to start my own YouTube channel because I'm a YouTube girly. I love watching YouTube videos, and I just kind of want to make my own personal diary that I can look back on. And I thought, yeah, a YouTube channel would actually be a good idea to do that, because I can share my life if anyone's interested in it. No one's probably interested in it, but I don't care. And on the other hand, I can have so many memories when I look back and was like, oh yeah, that was when I was this age, this was when that happened. And yeah, I just love seeing those YouTubers having like those long careers where you can just look back and be like, oh my gosh, like they've got so many memories, and I want that too. Like, yeah, I really like this idea of being like able to look back at old moments in my life. And yeah, I do this in English, even though English is not my native language, as you can probably tell by my accent. But yeah, I love talking in English. It's just my safe language, I guess so. Because I know people that know me would most likely not watch a video in English, and I'm quite thankful for that, because I do not want anyone who knows me to watch those videos, because I don't know, I feel like they would laugh at me. Yeah, and I also just, yeah, I want to overcome my anxiety of being judged, because it doesn't matter what other people think, because it's my life and I can do whatever the fuck I want. So welcome to my YouTube channel. You've probably realized I like yapping. And yeah, so in today's video I want to talk a little bit about something really cool that I did in the last few weeks, because I went on my first Interrail trip, and I wanted to share my experience and what I did and how it was. With firstly, I want to like be able to watch back how I felt back then, and secondly, I want to share it with all of you in case you just want to hear how my Interrail trip was and what I packed, where did I go, where did I sleep, would I recommend the hostels or the hotels that I stayed at. And yeah, this will be the topic of today's video. And yeah, let's jump straight into it. Let's start with my Interrail trip 2025. So, throwback. How did all of this like happen? So, as some of you might know, the European Union makes it possible for 18-year-olds to win an Interrail ticket so that they can explore Europe. And so last year, when I was 18, I applied for the Interrail ticket, and surprise, surprise, if you haven't guessed it yet, I won the ticket. Back then, I couldn't convince any of my friends to go with me, so I had applied on my own and I'd won on my own, and then I realized, oh my gosh, I've just won the ticket, and now I don't have to, but like I have the opportunity to go interrailing on my own. And yeah, shit. So yeah, that's how it started back in May last year, May 2024. I think it was around April when I applied, and like May when I found out that I'd won, or was it June or something like that, something between March and June. And then I got told, okay, yeah, you can use your Interrail ticket between like the moment that I'd won till the 30th of September the following year, so till September 2025. And I was still in school last year and I graduated this year, so I was like, yeah, I am going to use my Interrail ticket in 2025, kind of like as a trip after graduating. And then in December, I started planning my trip. It was so chaotic because at first I was like, yeah, I want to go there, I want to go there, I want to go there, and maybe I fly there or I do this. I thought about going all the way down to Portugal, Spain, France, and then I was like, I'm not the biggest fan of heat and summer. Like, I like summer, I love summer, but it's just so hot. And then I was like, okay, maybe Portugal isn't like the best option for me personally. So I kind of trashed that idea pretty fast. Then I was like, where do I want to go? And the thing on my mind was like, I definitely want to go to Amsterdam. I don't know, it was just, I need to go to Amsterdam. I really want to go there. And then I was like, okay, I'm gonna go there, and everything around it was kind of like planned around the fact that I want to go to the Netherlands. And then at the end of December, I finally fixed my route. So I decided that I was going to fly to Ireland and start my trip on this beautiful island. And then I'd be going up to North Ireland, and then I take the ferry to Scotland, go down to England, then take the underwater train to France, and then I'd go to Belgium, and at the end I would go to the Netherlands, and then I'd go home. So that was the route that I had planned in December. That I then booked my flight, I booked the ferry, and I booked the hostels where I would be staying. So everything was kind of like fixed. I was like, yeah, I'll be there, I'll be done there, and I'll be leaving at that time. So yeah, that was my planning, and I did that around December. And I think that was kind of like a good time because it wasn't like too early, but it also was like in a good distance so that I could still book quite cheap hostels in comparison to if you'd book it like, I don't know, a month before your trip, because sometimes it can be cheaper by then, but sometimes it could also be quite expensive. So yeah, I was like, better safe than sorry. So I booked everything around about 6 months ahead, because I decided to go on a trip from the 21st of June till the 14th of July. Or like, that was my original route. I kind of had to change it a little bit during my trip, but I will come to that at a later point. So yeah, I booked the flight, I booked the hostels, I booked the ferry, and I made seat reservations. I had, I think, 4 free seat reservations, which I used. That was like pretty cool because I was able to save a lot of money through that. Like the Eurostar from London to Paris would have been like, I don't know, 34 euros, and I got that for free. So yeah, pretty cool. So then the months passed and it was June, so I didn't really do anything between December to June to like plan my trip, because I was graduating at my final exams and everything, and it was super stressful. So I kind of just ignored my Interrail trip until the 10th of June or something like that. And so I ignored everything until the 10th of June. And then I did the next thing, which is like probably, in my opinion, one of the most important things. I started planning what I wanted to take with me on the trip. Oh no, I forgot something. Around March, my birthday was in March, so as a gift I got a nice backpack, which I started looking for around the beginning of March, and then I got it in like the middle of April because it took some time to have it delivered. I can show it to you guys later. I've got the I don't know how to pronounce it in English. The German way to pronounce it is Deuter. I think in English it's like Deuter. And I got the 60 liters plus I think 10 liters for additional storage. Definitely not a pro on backpacks. I have no clue about backpacks, to be honest, so I just went for that one because it looked nice, and I was like, I'm an overpacker. I cannot fly only with hand luggage. Like, no, I cannot survive with only 40 liters. I can't do that. So around April I got my backpack, and then in June I started my packing list, and that's the next important thing. What did I pack? I'm going to get my phone and I will tell you exactly what I packed for a 3-week trip. I packed, let me see. So I packed 1 pullover, 10 pairs of socks, 2 towels, 1 like smaller one and 1 bigger one, then a short trouser, 2 long trousers, 2 leggings, 2 sleeping shirts, 14 pairs of underwear, like, I'm not quite sure about that number, but 12 t-shirts. I think I packed a little bit, a couple more. Then a swimsuit, rain protection, sunscreen, toothbrush, toothpaste, then shampoo, makeup removal, shoes, hiking shoes and flip-flops, then a rain jacket, then a cap, medication, a dress, and 3 bras. Then I packed deodorant. Oh yeah, I packed another trouser. Then some pads and tampons, a hairbrush, my crossover bag, my ID, disinfection, charger, an international adapter, my power bank, 2 books, some pens, headphones, additional phone just in case mine got stolen. Then I brought money, padlocks. I took 3 padlocks with me, 1 small one for my day pack and 2 bigger ones. Then another card, an e-card, some coins, and some of the tickets that I bought needed to be printed, so I also had those with me. And then I had my day pack, and yeah, I think that was about it. I hope I didn't miss anything. If anyone's interested in my packing list, tell me, I can send it to you, I can translate it for you, because I had to translate all of this right now in my head. Oh yeah, and I packed like another thin jacket. So yeah, that was everything that I had with me on my 3-week trip. Was it enough? Yeah, I'd say so, but I think I had more pairs of underwear, because some things I just grabbed like on the day before leaving, and I was just like, yeah, I've got a bit of space, let's just take that with me. So yeah, add some of those. So yeah, was it enough? I'd say so, yes. I once washed some of my underwear at a hostel, like I think 3 or 4 pairs I washed, yeah. And I also wore my trousers and shirts for like longer periods of times. So I was able to wear my t-shirts for like, I don't know, 3 days sometimes. But I didn't really smell because I was like really behind showering every day and using a lot of deo. So yeah, that's big tip if you want to wear your clothes multiple times. Make sure that you don't smell. So yeah, the clothes were enough, so I wouldn't pack more stuff than I did. I also didn't use everything. I didn't wear my dress, I didn't wear the short trouser. I also didn't wear one of the leggings. Maybe instead of one of the leggings I would put in another trouser, because I was running out of trousers at the end because I got into a rain shower and I had to change, which was a bit unfortunate, but yeah, shit happens, I guess so. So that was everything I packed, and that was everything that I prepared. Like, I've got my flight, I've got my hostels, and I've got my backpack, and I also had my big backpack and my day bag, which was super fine. So let's get started with the actual Interrail trip. My journey started, oh my gosh, I don't want to show you everything, not yet. So everything started on the 21st of June. I took my first flight at like 10 a.m. Let me check. I want to be complete honest here. Can I see that? I cannot see that. Okay, yeah, so my first flight was at like 10 a.m. I flew to Frankfurt in Germany, and my second flight was in the afternoon at like 3 or 4 p.m. I think. Yeah, so I had a 4-hour layover, which was quite exhausting, but I passed the time through eating food, and then I landed in Dublin, my first destination. In Dublin, I stayed at the, let's see. In Dublin, I stayed at the La Trobe Jacobs Inn. I stayed there for 3 nights, and it was pretty cool. It was a hostel with like pods. At least I had booked a pod room. It was a bit hot in the pods, but generally I really liked the hostel. Like, it was at a good location and the people there were super friendly. And yeah, I stayed in Dublin for 3 nights, did a lot of sightseeing. I absolutely loved Dublin. I think I filmed some of the things I did, so if I've got stuff on my phone, I will now edit it in. Really enjoyed it there. It was quite windy and a bit rainy, but I think I preferred that over like 30 degrees. So yeah, it was pretty cool. I would definitely recommend Dublin. Like, I do want to go there again. Then after I'd been to Dublin, I went to Galway. I stayed at the Kinlay hostel, which was also really sweet. Like, I was able to check in early, like 1.5 hours before check-in time, which was super nice of them. The room was a bit small though, but it was pretty cheap. One night a girl threw up next to me. That was like on the not so positive moments of my journey, but it happens. So yeah, I've moved on from that, and Galway was probably my favorite city from the whole trip. Like, I really loved it. The people there were super nice. Just like the seaside and everything, it was so amazing. And I also went to the cliffs of Moher, and they were so worth seeing. Again, if I have any footage, I will put it in now.
Get away, get a study for a boy. And now that winter was coming, strumming on an independent boy. Give me that old time religion. Give me that old time religion. Give me that old time religion.
Oh, you fucking idiot.
And if I get the chance if I'd get the chance to travel to Ireland again, I would definitely go to Dublin and Galway again, but especially Galway. I really, really love the city. Just everything about it was so nice. And then, after my 2 nights in Galway, I traveled back to Dublin and I traveled to North Ireland, to Belfast. Until then, everything was like going perfectly. And then in Belfast, I hurt my knee. And I couldn't like properly walk at the beginning. Like I could walk, but it was really painful. And yeah, that was really difficult. And then at first, I should have stayed at the Queen's University Elms, but I decided, like, I checked in and I was in the room and I was like, okay, yeah, I'm not gonna stay there because that accommodation was really shit, gonna be honest. You didn't really know if your room was locked because you kind of had to lock it from the outside, but I didn't tell you that. I kind of read that. I only knew that because I read through the booking.com reviews, and they talked about that and that they also weren't told, so I kind of felt insecure. And then I wanted to plug in my adapter, and then there was just like a loud bang, and I was just like, what the fuck, like I am not gonna stay here. So yeah, then I was like in my accommodation, my knee was hurting like so much. I was just like, okay, I have to move. And then let me check the name of where I then stayed. Yeah, I don't care. Then I decided to stay at a cute hostel called the Botanical Backpackers for a night. I stayed there for only a night, but it was so beautiful. I absolutely loved it. Like, the people there were super friendly, everything was so nice. I definitely recommend this hostel. Like, it was a 10 out of 10, and I was so grateful and so thankful that they still had a free bed when I like booked the accommodation. And I only stayed there for a night because my plan was to stay there for a night, then on the next day I'd be going on a day tour to the Giants of Causeways, and then I check in at another hotel, the Belfast Europe Hotel, or Euro Belfast Hotel, something like that, because that was close to the train station, and my bus to the ferry to Belfast was leaving from that train station quite early, and I wanted to be close to the train station. But I hurt my knee, so I could not go to the Giants of Causeways, which I'm still a bit sad about, because that was like the main reason that why I decided to stay for 2 nights in Belfast. But I did some sightseeing in Belfast then, and it was still a great time, but I think if I hadn't hurt my knee, my time in Belfast would have been better. And yeah, during that time I was also like thinking about how I should continue my trip, because I didn't know how my knee situation would because I was, so during my time in Belfast I was thinking about shortening my trip, because my knee was like hurting quite a lot. And I can spoil you, I did shorten my trip a little bit, but I will talk about that a bit later. So after my 2 nights in Belfast at 3 different accommodations, I traveled to Scotland. First by bus to the ferry station, and then by a ferry, and then by a bus to Glasgow. And then I stayed a little bit in Glasgow for like a couple of hours, and then I traveled to Edinburgh. In Edinburgh, I stayed at the Kick-Ass Grass Market for 4 nights. The hostel was good, like the location was really good, and I felt quite safe there. The only problem was I had like a top bed, which is like no problem, ignoring the fact that my knee was hurting a lot and I struggled to get on there. But like the sides were like really short, so I was scared of falling down. Yeah, I really loved my time in Scotland. It was so beautiful, and it was definitely one of my favorite moments. And if I've got any footage, I will now put it into here, and then now I will charge my camera, and then we will continue with the next city. So it's now a couple of hours later. I've charged my camera and I'm back. So after Edinburgh, I went to London, and I swear to God, London's like one of my most favorite cities in the world. I don't know why I'm so in love with this city, but yeah, it was my 5th time already, so I've already been there quite a few times. And this time, where is my phone? Got my phone. And this time I stayed for 4 nights again, just like Edinburgh. At first I stayed at the hostel. That's a women only hostel. The place was quite okay. I didn't really like the area where it was located. It felt a little bit unsafe, but I only went out during the day, so it was fine. And then I stayed another night at the Arc, Wembley. That was like a hotel directly next to the Wembley Stadium, because I actually went to the Lana Del Rey concert there, and that was so cool. Like, she's such a great artist and she smashed it. I really loved the concert. So yeah, I stayed directly at the Wembley, and then for another 2 nights I stayed at the Wombat City Hostel in London. The area was great. I felt really safe, and yeah, it was only like a 10-minute walk from the underground. So yeah, I really liked the hostel. And my time in London was so crazy. Firstly, I did a little bit of sightseeing, and then there was the Pride. I went there, I watched the parade. It was super cool. Like, there were so many people, and it was like really big. And then there was also the British Summertime Hyde Park Festival, I think that's the name. And like one night I listened from the outside and I heard Phineas and Gracie Abrams. That was so cool. And then on the other day I spontaneously bought a ticket for the festival, and I went there with a friend, and we actually saw Sabrina Carpenter live, and that was like so cool. Like, Sabrina's one of my favorite artists, and yeah, she was dope. It was so fun. Like, we went shopping before the concert because we needed a new fit, because like, obviously. And yeah, that was so much fun. And yeah, so there was not a lot of sleeping during my time in London, but there was a lot of music. So that was so great again. And I'll now put in the footage of my beautiful London trip. So now that you've seen that, let's talk a bit about the downside of my London trip. As I've mentioned previously, I had to shorten my trip because of my knee injury. It got better during the trip, but it still hurt from time to time, and I was like, yeah, I think I should shorten the trip a little bit so that my knee could rest sooner. And so I decided to cancel my stay in Belgium and skip Belgium and go straight from Paris to Amsterdam. And I also decided to shorten my time in Amsterdam so that I'd only be staying for a night instead of 2 nights. And yeah, I made that decision in London, and then I changed my hotels and everything, and that was like no problem because I like booked hostels where I could like cancel them, so that was no issue. Didn't lose any money through that. But yeah, that was a little bit of a sad memory from my time in London, but I think it was the right decision. And Belgium will see me one day, and Amsterdam will definitely see me again. But yeah, let's get to the fun part again, the journey that I actually did go on. So at the end of my London trip, I traveled to Paris with the underwater train. I can't really tell how it was because I slept through the journey. I just woke up to the announcement that we'd be arriving in Paris soon. So yeah, that was an experience. So I definitely have to do that again so that I can actually tell the people around me how the train's like. But yeah, and then my time in Paris was rainy. Like, it was raining 24/7, I think. It was quite annoying. Like, I had to change once because I got soaked. And yeah, that was like a bit sad because there was like the Eiffel Tower and the Louvre, and I just wanted to experience that like with great weather, and it was raining so badly. And it wasn't cold. The only time it was cold was when like my clothes were completely wet, but it was still so annoying. But yeah, I don't really think that I've got any like video footage of Paris because it was raining so bad most of the time, but if I have any footage I will insert it now. So now you've seen the few seconds I have of my Paris trip, and I just pray that my next Paris trip will be a bit more sunny. I stayed in Paris for 2 nights at the, let me check, at the People hostel. It was also quite nice. I really liked the bed. The only problem was that I couldn't lock my backpack because the locker was quite small, but there were only clothes in my backpack, so I didn't really care, and I put all my valuable items in the locker, so that was like no issue for me. And yeah, I definitely plan on going to Paris again. I really liked it. And then we skipped Belgium, which is really sad, and I went straight to Amsterdam, and I stayed there for a night at the Dirty Nelly's Inn. It's a hostel in the red light district, or like close to it. Don't really know for sure, but I felt quite safe there. I mean, I didn't go out at night, so I can't really give you any information about that, but I felt safe in the hostel. The only downside was that I was in the 3rd floor and there was like a really steep staircase. And I was like, yeah, I better not get drunk because otherwise I'll be dead. But yeah, my Amsterdam trip was also so cool. I did, again, sightseeing. I went to museums. I actually went to the castle, like the real palace there, and it was like so cool. I absolutely loved it. Like, I'm such a big fan of like those castles and everything. So, and I actually could go in there and take pictures. So sadly I could not record any videos, but I did take a lot of photos, and yeah, I loved it. And then on the 9th of June, yeah, I took the night train back home. The night train was like 15 hours and that was like so exhausting. So on the 10th of July, I came home and I was so happy to be back home. I was sad that the trip was over, but I was happy that I was like back, sleeping in my own bed, having my own shower and everything. So yeah, everything's got positive sides and negative sides, but yeah. And if I've got any footage of Amsterdam, I will again insert it now. So after you've seen everything, I can just say that I really, really loved my Interrail trip. Like, genuinely, the countries that I saw, the places that I stayed at, the cultures that I got to experience. The food was a bit expensive everywhere, but that's traveling. So all in all, I would definitely do it again, and I definitely do those countries again. I'm really happy with the countries I went to and how I did it. Yeah, I would do it again, and I did it solo. And I think that was pretty cool because I could just do whatever I wanted and I didn't have to listen to anybody else. So it was really a me trip, and I think I really grew through this trip because I didn't have anyone I could like rely on. I had to do everything. I had to look up where I would be staying, how the weather would be, where I could get food. I had to ask people if I didn't know something. So yeah, I definitely grew through the trip, and I definitely do it again solo. I think everyone should do a solo trip once in their life or multiple times. I'm definitely gonna do more solo trips in the future. It was so cool. And yeah, absolutely loved it. I traveled solo and I only really had 2 rules. The first one was no drinking alcohol, and the second rule was don't go outside when it's dark. So I wasn't drinking any alcohol, and I was back at the hostel before the sun was completely gone, except for the 2 concert nights. But a friend went with me to my hostel, so that was fine. And yeah, those were really the only 2 rules that I had, and that I maybe would recommend to another female going on a solo trip. But maybe it's just because I'm a bit scared of a lot of things. But yeah, those things definitely kept me a bit safer in my opinion. But yeah, ignoring those 2 rules, I really enjoyed the trip. I loved Interrailing, and I'll definitely be back Interrailing maybe next summer, but I don't know for sure yet because I'm going to save a little bit of money for that. And for anyone who might be interested in how much money I spent on the trip, I can tell you exactly how much money I spent on the trip. All in all was €2,627.23, excluding the Arc Wembley, but including 2 concerts, all my accommodations, food, public transport, and yeah, I absolutely loved it. I would definitely recommend it. If you have the chance to do it, do it. I would do it again, and this is a message to younger me. I'm so proud of you for doing that, and we will definitely do that again. It was so worth it. But you definitely need a little bit of money to do that. I mean, I probably could have spent less money, but I also didn't want it to be like a complete low budget thing. So yeah, I'm totally fine with how much money I spent. I wanted to spend around €3,000 on this trip, so I even stayed a bit under what I had calculated for. And yeah, this was my Interrail experience. I loved my time, and yeah, I will now insert some videos of my backpack that I promised you I would still show you. So now we still got the backpack. That was it. I was able to, you know, close it here, and it had a little bit of space on top here and also here. Then there was the main part where I stored all of my items. I would have been able to zip this, but I didn't zip it because it was more convenient to just have one big space area. You can also like unzip it here, and then you could like access stuff from down here if I just needed something from all the way down here. And then there was like here, there was also a little bit of space where I had a bit of like rain protection for my backpack. So yeah, that's the back side. It was really comfortable, and yeah, lots of space, and I definitely recommend the backpack. Yeah. And I'm going to say bye now. This was my video telling you about my Interrail trip. I loved it. I'd do it again, and yeah, I hope you liked it. If you have any questions about anything regarding my Interrail trip, ask. I will definitely answer. And yeah, bye!